and how you look forward to April 20th.
Hi, guys. Thanks for joining today. Training is going really well. I'm here back in San Francisco. Decided to get back with Virgil Hunter, who I really believe that knows me better than anyone else, any other trainer. My last 2 fights were with Joe Busen, and that was because Virgil was a little sick and I had to make a quick change. But now I'm back with Virgil. I've had my best performances in boxing with Virgil. Great wins, and I wanted to join camp with him again. But since we've joined camp, everything's going really well. We are sparring hard, training hard. Going to be in great condition for this fight because I know that Terence is a great fighter. I respect the way he fights and respect what he's done in the game. He's up there as one of the best man-to-man fighters. And, also my conditioning coach, Tony Brady, is also pushing me. So the camp I've had is the camp that is I'm normally happy with. So that's what I wanted. About Terence Crawford, I'm not taking this fight lightly, and I'm not just taking this fight just to be a number. I'm taking this fight because I know I can win this fight with my boxing skills, being smart, and I can go in there and cause a big upset. Now I know all odds are against me, but this is where I like to be. Because it's when I'm the underdog I perform at the best. When people are always looking over me and thinking that I've not got a chance, this is the time when I can come and prove everybody wrong. And I just feel that timing-wise is just the perfect timing for this, where, I've always wanted to be up there in the perfect rankings. I'm at the peak of my career at 32 now. So I've got the best. I feel strong physically, mentally. I'm prepared for this fight. So I think this is just a great timing where I come in and take this fight and win this fight as well. Otherwise, I wouldn't have taken this fight. I had another fight in the UK, which was against Kell Brook. But when I saw this fight, I was like, this is stylistically a better fight for me. And I think, obviously, being with ESPN, which I want to thank as well, I think that on ESPN, this fight will be even bigger and better, and it'll be good for my recognition and good for me as well in the future. So, training's still going strong. We're still just under 4 weeks away from the fight, and I'm going to be more than ready. So I'll let you guys know that. Thank you.
Evan?
We would like to turn the floor over to questions for both Amir and Bob at this point. After the Q&A portion of this call is concluded with Amir, we will have Terence Bud Crawford on the line.
Again, to ask a question, you may press star followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad. Our first question comes from Dan Rafael.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Amir. How are you today?
Hi, Dan. I'm doing well, thanks.
My question for you, Amir, is if you could just talk a little bit about your thought process in accepting and going after this fight instead of the fight that had been discussed for you prior to this fight coming about, which was a fight with your British rival, Kell Brook, that a lot of people, at least in your country, were very interested to see, and not taking that offer and instead coming to the States to fight against Terence Crawford in a similarly significant fight.
Yeah, so basically I love fighting in the States. I've had some big performances here, and I wanted to be back over here again and to put another big fight on. New York is one of my favorite locations in America. So when this fight was put to me, and it was going to be a big fight, it was going to be a pay-per-view fight, I decided to, take this fight with both hands and make sure that I can make sure that if I'm going to take this fight, I'm going to win this fight as well. So that's the reason I decided to take this fight. I spoke to my team, and my team might have been a little bit, they didn't agree with me as much, but I was like, look, this is a fight I want, because Terence, breaking down the fight, Terence is a very skillful fighter. I always do well against skillful fighters. This is going to be like a game of chess at times. So he likes to come forward, he does punch well, and he does like to fight as well. So then, he's got the best of both worlds, and not only that, he's the same weight as me. He's going to be, I thought I went away more, so I'm probably physically the bigger guy in this fight. I'm physically the guy who's been in the 147 division longer as well. So I've got that advantage on my side, whereas normally I'm the smaller guy fighting these bigger guys. So I think that's definitely going to be on my side. People
Amir,
might...
Oh,
Yeah.
go ahead. Sorry
People
about that.
might-
I thought you were done.
People might feel... sorry, sir. People might feel that, for my last performance against Vargas, I'm going to be the same. But, I know that was a very bad performance. It was just not me, I know I had to just go in there and win a fight. It's hard to motivate yourself against guys where you're supposed to win, because all you have to do is turn up there and you're going to win the fight because you got the better skill set and everything else. But in this fight, this is what I have to do in my A game. I have to make sure that I can't make any mistakes, and I have to go into this as an underdog, but prove myself and win this fight.
Amir, was any part of your thought process in taking this particular fight, and I'm saying this based on my understanding that financially it's about the same for both fights. You would have made a lot of money for either fight. So was part of your thought process, I can fight Crawford, have an opportunity to fight on a big American pay-per-view to win the welterweight title against a top opponent in a place I know you like fighting, New York City. And whatever happens, if you win, if you lose, whatever goes down, if it's a draw, that Kell Brook is still going to be a fight that's in your back pocket that a lot of people are still going to want to see regardless of the outcome of April 20th.
Well, I don't know if that fight's still going to be there. I chose this fight over that fight, and I know that I've seen in numerous times in the media Eddie saying that the fight's literally dead now. It's not going to happen again. Look, who knows? Time will tell. I'm taking this fight step at a time, fight by fight, and let's get this fight out of the way first, and then we take it from there. Look, that fight might never happen. It might happen. So I'm just taking every fight by as it comes, really.
Understood. And let me ask one question to Bob. Hey, Bob.
Yeah, Dan.
Bob, when you were and everybody at Top Rank was looking for an opponent for Terence to fight in this spring time frame, how was Khan sort of at the top of your list, or did you have to sort of go through and see who was available, or was he, because he's got a big name, he's got a lot of accomplishment, he's got a fan base. How did you guys go about deciding that let's target Khan to make an offer to, as opposed to any other fighter in the welterweight division?
The first thing is, what's the best fight we can do? And I have always been an Amir Khan fan. And I say this without, not because I'm promoting him in this fight, but I remember back in the day, years and years ago, when Amir Khan joined Manny Pacquiao in his camp and was a tremendously skillful sparring partner. Amir knows we were, I think, in the Philippines. He participated in that camp. And so I know a little bit about boxing. I'm not one of the matchmakers who really are tremendously skilled, but I've been around over 50 years in this sport, and I know what makes a good fight and what's a competitive fight. And I'm telling you that Amir Khan against Terence Crawford is a hugely competitive fight. Styles make fights, and this is the first pay-per-view event that we're doing with ESPN, and we value tremendously our relationship to ESPN, and I want going in and at the fight, so going out, everybody to say, hey, this was a great, great fight. And I really believe that the fight will be a tremendously interesting, competitive fight. And that's why we made it. That is the truth. That is why we made it. There are other fighters that, other welterweights who are coming along and may one day step up and fight for a welterweight champion. I'm sure they will, like the Eastern Europeans, Busbutin and Kavaliauskas. But this fight, instinctively, I knew, and my matchmakers agreed, was a very, very competitive fight. I mean, you have to understand there are very few fighters who have the boxing skills of Amir Khan. Very, very few. So I look at this as a very competitive fight.
All right, thank you very much, Bob. Appreciate it. Thanks, Amir.
Your next question is from Carlos Toro.
Hi, thanks, Amir and Bob, for taking time to talk to us. My first question for Amir is that you said New York is, one of your favorite boxing homes, and it's been the site of a lot of your big wins. Does fighting in New York kind of bring back any special memories, whether it be the fight against Paulie Malignaggi or just overall gives you more motivation to perform well because it is such a big market?
Well, I got married in New York City, so I think that's a good one. And then obviously, my in-laws all live in New York. I spend a lot of time over there. But not only that, my first fight in America was in New York City at the MSG, at the smaller one, at the smaller arena they have. And that was a great performance against Paulie Malignaggi. And that was my entry to America. So, this is another big fight here. And when it was New York, I was like, yes, because I walk around the New York city, and I've met so many fans who have always said to me, why don't you fight in New York again? All your fights are normally in Vegas and in LA, in that side, the West Coast. And I'm like, okay, one day I will come back to New York. And I think this is the time now where I come back for a big fight and to give my fans and the people of America another big one.
Amir, Crawford, as you mentioned, you spent more time as a welterweight than Terence Crawford. Have you had a chance to sort of look at Terence Crawford's two fights against Jeff Horn and Jose Benavidez? And if so, what did you make of Crawford at 147 pounds so far?
I'm not a very good fighter. Look, I can't take this lightly. This fight is going to be a tough fight, and he's a very, very good, skilled fighter with power, some decent power. He's durable. He moves well, boxes well. So for me to win this fight, I have to be on my A game. I can't make any mistakes. But he's still. I'm not going to say. I've read. This is what I read on the media. People saying he's quite new in the welterweight division, but I don't think he is. I mean, you can see he is a quite filled out welterweight fighter. I mean, for the welterweight division, I think he's got the height and everything. He kind of moves into it quite well. So I'm not going to go in there thinking I'm stronger, I'm bigger, I'm the physically bigger fighter. I'm going to go in there and use my skills to win this fight. My skills is what's going to win the fight, not the size, not the power. And it's about to be my IQ and my skills for this one.
One last quick question for Bob. What was the thought process of sort of making this fight into a pay-per-view? Was it, the matchup itself, or was it a time where, Crawford, his fights on ESPN television drawn incredible ratings and record high viewership? Was it a matter of simply, this was the time regardless of the opponent, or simply the matchup warranting a pay-per-view event?
I mean, I'm sorry. It's really a combination of both. It's the matchup that warrants the pay-per-view, and it's also because it's such a big fight that, this is professional boxing, and the fighters have to be compensated because it's such a big fight. And therefore, you cannot rely on a network to constantly come up with big money as a rights fee. So if the fight is big enough, you have to then go to the public and say to the public, hey, this is a terrific fight. You have to support the fight. Now, sometimes the public says no. But, if we have confidence in the event, they'll say yes. So that's really what it's about. We can stop playing the games of whether a fight should be pay-per-view or shouldn't be pay-per-view. The first question, is it a really good matchup, really an interesting event? And then secondly, is it affordable on regular television? Can a rights fee support the fight? And in this case, we have a splendid event, and we have fighters who have to be and should be compensated for their performances, and therefore you go to pay-per-view. That is the mindset. Everything else is noise.
Thanks, Bob, and thanks, Amir.
Thank you.
Your next question comes from James Bell.
Hello, this is James Bell for the Boxing Source, and I have one question for Amir Khan. You've been talking about coming into this fight being the underdog, but you've been familiar with big fights over the course of your professional career. Like, how does having that familiarity and that experience kind of like factor into this particular fight, as you might not have to worry about all the media coverage, press coverage, and stuff like that leading up to this particular fight?
I've been quite lucky where from my first fight as a professional, I was the main attraction on television. I had all the media, the big press conferences, I had the conference calls and everything. So I had a lot of media attention from day one since I turned professional. And, I've been going 14 years strong as a professional, and still I've had big media coverage, and I've had that kind of pressure on me. But I've learned how to cope with that pressure, and how to deal with that pressure. And really now, when it goes into a fight, and when I go into a fight, I always make sure that it's not on my mind, and I'm nice and cool and chilled out. It's the last thing I think about with all this pressure. And also, one more thing I want to say, this is to everybody, is that Crawford, there's a lot of talk about Crawford fighting Spence. Spence just come off a fight. And, all the people that are talking about that fight, he's got his hands full against me, because I'm not just a number. I know when I have to turn it on, I have to turn it on. And, in maybe previous fights, I've won the fights, but I've not maybe looked the best. But because I know that I really belong a level above. I'm one of those fighters that if I'm fighting a guy who's supposed to be at the top of his game, then that's going to bring me to the top of my game. So it brings the best out of me. If Crawford's talking about Spence, maybe that fight happening and overlooking me, I think he is going to be having a big shock. So I hope he's going to be ready in this fight. He's been hurt we've both been hurt in fights. But he's been hurt by guys like Gamboa. I'm a fully fledged welterweight fighter who hits hard in this welterweight division, and I've got good knockout percentage. I'm an unbeaten welterweight fighter. It's a weight where I feel comfortable at, and it's a weight where I feel strong at as well. And I've got my speed, I've got my movement, and I've got the perfect size. Whereas the other weights maybe might have been a little bit too much for me, going up to when I fought against Canelo. That's maybe putting on too much. But even that fight, I really think I was winning that fight. When it comes to boxing skills and being smart and knowing that I couldn't make any mistakes. But obviously, I got caught with a big shot, which probably would have knocked out any welterweight fighter, in that fight. But this is where I want to maybe tell everybody that, look, I'm not just a number. I'm not just going to come into this fight and make numbers or make a night of boxing. I'm coming to win this fight.
All right, thank you.
Your next question is from Benjamin Black.
Yeah, hi, Amir. Just a question for you. You talked a little bit about fighting in New York and having been married here and having family here. How much of the venue at the Garden, played into your decision to take this fight over Kell Brook? And maybe just talk a little bit more about the home cooking of New York and maybe if any kind of advantage you think that gives you.
New York's a very chill place. It reminds me a bit of London, And I love the place. I've been spending a lot of time there. And also the MSG is probably the mecca of boxing, where you've got you've had all the biggest fights from the early 80s and 90s. I've been there, So I want to be amongst them. I want to be amongst those big fights that one day when I'm walking my kids, because I'll be spending a lot of time in New York, and I'll be walking past this arena. I can say to my kids, look, your daddy fought there, So, it means a lot to me. New York is something I'm always going to be attached with. So it's great that the fight's there.
Your next question is from Cameron Buford.
Hey guys, thanks for taking this time to talk to us all, Amir, and I appreciate it. I got a couple questions. Some of the guys asked my questions already. Speaking of Madison Square Garden, and maybe that is, maybe it isn't. What is the most impressive venue you fought in?
So I fought in a few. I mean, looking back to my whole career, I mean, I fought all over. I'd say the Madison Square Garden, this will be one of the best ones I will ever fight in because, it's the mecca of boxing. There are some huge fights there. So this will have to top all the venues I fought in. And also to get a win there would be even more amazing. And if our world title is probably one of my biggest fights in my career. So I'd say this will always be number one. But then, I fought the MSG. Not MSG, sorry, MGM, which is in Vegas, and also T-Mobile. So I've had the opportunity to fight in these big arenas. I also like in New York when I fought Chris Algieri at the stadium, which one it was, what's the stadium called? The big soccer, the big basketball stadium in New York, in Brooklyn.
Barclays.
Barclays. I fought the Barclays as well. So I've had the opportunity as a fighter to fight in all these different locations. But MSG will be up there as one of the best, I have to say.
Okay, I'm sure they appreciate hearing that. You talked about kind of getting your mindset before the fight, kind of having your mind right. And how is it that you find to chill out before the big fight like this?
I've been in the game for quite a long time. 14 years fighting, and 10 years fighting at top level. So you just kind of learn as time goes on. As I'm getting older, I'm 32 now. I'm not no spring chicken where I'm still young. I'm still learning. I've learned everything I needed to. I've got the experience. I've done this numerous times. I know how to deal with everything now. I know when to rest and when to talk and when to do things right. So it comes with age. It comes with experience, and I've been quite lucky to be in this position for the last world class level for the last 10 years.
Okay, I got a couple more for you. You mentioned about Crawford not overlooking you as an opponent, and not saying that you might be overlooking Crawford for your opponent, but we all have to look forward. After beating Crawford on the 20th of April, would you see yourself fighting Spence, or would you be wanting another fight before you got to Spence?
Honestly, I've never ever looked past fights. I made that mistake when I was young, and obviously things didn't go right. But to be honest with you, I'm just going to take every fight step at a time. There's a lot of big fights out there for me. There are Spences, there are Kell Brook. There's big fights out there for me. Now, it just depends how long I want to be in the game for. I've always said I want to retire young, and I want to enjoy time with my family. So let's see. I mean, those fights can happen. But like I said, I'm just going to, after the fight, hopefully the press conference, that's when we can talk about this.
All right, we have to move on to the next question.
Your next question is from Tony Boone.
Hi, Amir. Crawford is a right-handed guy, but he's become more comfortable fighting as a southpaw as he's gone on as a champion here. You have an extremely great record against southpaw fighters. I guess, first of all, how do you expect Crawford to approach your fight? And I guess, how do you kind of counter what he's going to do, knowing that he prefers to fight southpaw now, even though he is a right-handed fighter?
We're working with different guys in sparring. I've got different guys who are coming at me. Some are switch hitters. Some are guys who are southpaw. Some are orthodox. So I'm not leaving anything behind. I'm working with both stance guys. If Crawford wants to fight me southpaw, then so be it. If he wants to fight me orthodox, so be it. So we can be ready for whatever he brings to the table. I'm not leaving anything behind on this. I don't want to go into the fight and think, wait a minute, I didn't expect this. So I'm going to I want to make sure that I've done everything right, and I've learned every little bit from my training partners.
All right, next question.
Your next question comes from Daniel Canabio.
Yes, this question's for Mr. Aram. There's a lot of speculation on Twitter whether you write your own tweets. We saw yesterday you reached out, you sent a tweet about Crawford and Spence, and you tweeted at Al Heyman, and a lot of people say, Bob Arum doesn't write his own tweets. He doesn't know how to work Twitter. I just thought you would set the record straight for us.
Well, the people who think I don't work Twitter, we all work Twitter. Even the President of the United States uses Twitter. So, yeah, I work Twitter. I think it's a great service. You can say a lot of things on Twitter, and fans read them and respond. Sometimes they like them, sometimes they don't like them, and sometimes they say the most horrible things in response to them. But I think it's a lot of fun, and it is the modern way to educate fans and to reach fans. So yeah, I'm a big Twitter fan myself, and I use it very often, and I like to do at least 3 or 4 tweets a week. So yeah, I plead guilty to writing my own tweets.
So that's probably the only time you've ever agreed with the President of the United States that Twitter is a great tool.
Well, that's really true, but I use it better than he does.
All right, thank you.
Hey, and well, thank you, everybody. After a brief hold, Terence Crawford will be joining us on the line. Thank you. Thank you, Amir.
Thank you, Amir, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much, guys. All the best.
Yeah.
Bye.
Hold on, guys. They're waiting for Terence Crawford to join the call.
Hello.
Hey, Julie.
Yes.
Hey, okay, you joined the call, so you can put Terence on, and we're ready for him.
He's on.
Hello?
Terence.
Yeah. Hey, Terence, Bob Arum. How are you, man?
What's up, Rich?
Good. Okay, let's go, Evan. Start it.
Yep, so now, everybody, we have Terence Crawford on the line. So everybody get your questions in.
All right, I want to, before Terence takes the questions, I just want to say what a privilege it is to have him on and to have him as this promotion. You have to realize that 40 years ago, I promoted the great welterweight of that time, Sugar Ray Leonard, and now, 40 years later, I have the honor of that top rank of promoting the success of the Sugar Ray Leonard, Terence Crawford, and I believe that Terence Crawford is the best welterweight in the world, certainly a contender for pound, the best fighter in the world, and I believe that he's in a real fight with Amir Khan, who I've explained to everybody I've been a fan of, a terrific fighter, and that's what Terence wants, challenges as he goes on with his great career. So open it up
Before we
for
begin,
questions. Maybe Terence has something to say. Terence, you have a few remarks to make before we open up for questions?
Not really. I just appreciate all the support that I have been getting, and I'm looking forward to April 20th at MSG.
Okay, open up, Evan, for questioning.
And everybody, before we begin, we also have Terence's manager and trainer, Brian McIntyre, on the line available for questions as well. Thank you.
To ask a question, you may press star followed by the number 1 on your telephone keypad. Our first question comes from Dan Raphael.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Bomax. Hi, Terence. Terence, you there?
Hi, Dan.
Hey,
yeah, I'm here.
My first question for you, Terence, and part of it was what Bob was talking about, is having you have your first pay-per-view fight. I wanted your view of, you've had several significant fights in your career so far, but this will be the first time you're on pay-per-view and you're in the main event and you're obviously the champion.
No long.
No what?
I said no.
He's right. It's not the first.
It's not second.
Terence.
Oh no, you're right. I mean, you fought post-all on pay-per-view. My apologies. But
yeah,
in I guess a fight that is against a much bigger name, and we don't have to go through all the reasons why that post-all fight was on pay-per-view. Bob, I'm sure, would be happy to talk about that. But this one is conceived as a pay-per-view.
Pay-per-view.
Understood. I just wanted your opinion about having a really significant fight on pay-per-view, probably bigger than the post-all.
That's why it was a significant fight. That was a significant fight. What are you talking about? Don't try to shut down that fight. That's stupid.
I'm not shutting anything down. I'm just saying I think that
That was a significant fight.
All right, I'll move on to my next question. That's fine.
Thank you. Hello?
Damn, did Dan go cry somewhere?
Hello?
Our next question is from Cheyenne McCargo.
Dan.
Hey, Bud.
Yeah.
I want to ask the first question. I want to ask you. Everybody wants to see the big fight with yourself and Amir Khan. I was wondering. Yourself and Errol Spence. I was wondering if you caught the fight last week or 2 weekends ago, and what was your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I caught the fight. You did what you expected to do. Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I caught the fight. You did what you expected to do, but at the same time, I'm not focused on how that fight did. I'm more focused on my fight and my task at hand.
Okay. And now another thing is, Amir Khan has a lot of hand speed and things of that nature. People overlook this fight because they feel like Amir Khan is chinny. What's your response to that?
This is a tough fight. Amir Khan never lost in the welterweight division. He knows what he's doing in the ring. He boxes real good. He's real fast. He's real crafty. He's a veteran. So this is going to be a tough fight.
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello? You still there, Bud?
Terence? Brian?
Hello?
Evan, get him back on the line, and meanwhile, I can answer any questions while you get him back.
Hey, Bob. So,
yeah, go ahead.
Next question is from
They're doing a different phone.
Oh,
Hold on a minute, operator.
yeah.
They're doing a different phone.
Okay.
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good. Hey, Brian. Good. All right, Bomax on the phone, and we're putting on Terence on a different phone.
May I have your conference ID number?
Hello?
Hello?
Evan?
Yes, she's coming.
Well, start having him ask questions. Brian's on the phone, I'm on the phone, and you'll get Terence on the phone.
We're getting Terence on the phone right now on Julie's phone.
Your next question is from Tony Boone.
Hey, Brian, I'll go ahead and ask you a question. I know this is quite a while ago, but one of the defining fights, I guess, for both guys here was the Bradis-Prescott fight. When you guys took that fight and Terence came out and put on that great performance, fighting mostly as a southpaw, how much did you take into account what happened to Khan in a couple fights after that and preparing for that fight? And how do you think that performance kind of launched Terence to get to this point?
Well, I don't take that in consideration at all because that was a different fight. That was a little while ago. And since then, it bounced back with some great wins. And plus, Bradis-Prescott was on the when Terence fought him. He wasn't the greatest junior welterweight at the time. But when Amir Khan fought him, he was all right. So those are two different fighters, and Terence did something totally different to Amir Khan. To Prescott that he did to Amir Khan. So, and, he's a different fighter now. So this is totally what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I guess the reason I'm asking that is, that kind of launched Terence into becoming more comfortable as a southpaw, and now he's continued on with that and become very proficient at it. I guess I was just looking at it from how did that performance kind of lead you to, have him become the great southpaw that he's become now, knowing that he's naturally an orthodox fighter?
Well, that's 100% on Terence because, he feels when he feels like he needs to switch, he'll go ahead and switch. And we don't tell him in the ring or in the corner to switch. It's just left up to the fighter. So, I'm not going to take credit for him becoming one of the best southpaws ever. I'm going to give all the credit to him because, he does it when he needs to.
As far as this fight goes, I know the guys in your camp have always had a lot of respect for Khan. Did you ever foresee that these two guys would meet up sometime down the road? Knowing Khan was always a division above you guys back in the day.
Oh yeah, definitely that. Our camp and Terence himself always look to try to fight the best fighters out there, and at this time, Khan is ranked in the top, I believe, in the top 10 at the welterweight. So, we're going to try to, we're going after the best ones that's available. Khan was available, so hey, he's next up on the chopping block.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Your next question is from Dan Raphael.
Hey, Brian, my question for you is this. When you take a look at the way Khan has been fighting lately, what do you see in his game? He got dropped by Samuel Vargas, but he also took out LaGreco in 30 seconds or whatever it was. Before that was a very long layoff. So where do you look at Khan in his career at the moment?
Well, right now, with his last two fights, he's like a determined fighter that wanted to get the job done. After coming off of 2 wins for himself, he's coming in try to upset Terence. So not one time the team or Terence is going to take Khan lightly.
Brian, do you think that when you look at all the fighters that Terence has faced so far, I guess there's an argument some could make is that Khan is maybe the most accomplished professionally of those guys he's fought. I know Terence has fought good opponents, but in terms of the number of major fights, he's won some significant fights, won a world title. Where do you view him in terms of the level of all the different opponents that have been the good ones that Crawford has fought so far?
I'll rate Khan in the top 5 opponents that Terence was faced. Like you said, he's accomplished a lot of things in his career, and he's got experience, and he's knowledgeable, and he knows what to do in the ring at times, and different times. He got good ring IQ, got good ring generalship. So, hey, I'll put him up there in the top 5.
Out of curiosity, who are some of those other guys that, when you say top 5, that are in your mind besides him among those other 5 guys?
You got to look at the gold medalists. Terence after the face, I think he beat 2 gold medalists. He beat a few of those undefeated champions. So, hey, he's up there.
And as far as the one thing that was mentioned before, the one negative aspect of Amir Khan in his career is that he's been chinny. He's been knocked out in 3 of his 4 losses, and some of them quite spectacular knockout losses. Is it a matter in your mind or in Crawford's mind or your camp's mind that, it's a solid fight against a skillful opponent, but the reality is it's just a matter of time till Crawford puts a good punch on that chin?
Well, we will want to say that, as we're going into the fight, but, Amir Khan is still dangerous with, all the attributes that he brings to the ring. So, we don't know what he's doing over there with Virgil Hunter, we don't know what he's doing with his strength and conditioning coach. So, we want to say that, but, we're not thinking that as we go into the ring. One thing we got on our mind is just getting the win.
And last night, somebody asked Bob earlier about if he runs his own Twitter account. He posted a tweet about, that Terence is ready, willing and able to fight Errol Spence Jr. after this fight, after he beats Amir Khan, and, wants to talk to Heyman about it. What is your perspective on that, and how realistic do you think that is?
Well, right now, our total focus is on Amir Khan, what's in front of us. And, Bob's doing his thing. Bob is trying to get the fight, trying to make the fight happen. So, hey, let Bob do his thing and let us do our thing. And then when we get done, go down and sit with Bob and talk to Bob, and hopefully them other guys come to the table.
All right, very good. Thank you, Brian. Good luck on April 20.
Oh, thank you.
Your next question is from Benjamin Block.
Yeah, hey. I was just wondering, what fighters does Terence plan on bringing into camp? Do you guys plan on bringing to camp to sort of prepare for Amir's style that you're talking so much about?
Well, that's a little bit too much information to be given out, so you'll find out after the fight.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. What does a win over Amir do for Terence and his trajectory and what's next?
Well, everybody say that Terence is a small welterweight, and he's not big enough for that weight class. And Amir Khan is a solid welterweight, and so after Terence does his thing on April 20th, it's just going to solidify him to. We're looking for him to be solidified as a natural welterweight.
Hey, yeah, I just want to let you know Terence is back on the line if you have a question for him.
All right, operator, get the next question going.
Our next question is from Chip Mitchell. Chip, your line is open.
Okay, let's move on.
Your next question is from Tony Boone.
Hey, Terence. Obviously, Amir got his start as a pro a little bit ahead of you, and just time-wise, he was just always a little bit in front of you and always seemed to be just a weight class above you. As your guys' career has kind of gone on, did you see this as a fight that ever could potentially happen sometime down the road, just because you were so close in age and so close in weight?
Not really. I never really looked at a fight with Amir Khan and myself ever happening. Then that you're right, he always been the bigger guy and higher weight classes, and fought Canelo at a higher weight class, and I thought he would be at 154, but we here now, and I'm excited to share the ring with him.
I know a lot of people have said a lot about this fight in terms of you being a massive favorite in this, but I know that you guys are all very aware of what Amir's done over his career. From your standpoint, kind of what's the sell from where you're at? Like, what is it about Khan that you think has earned him this title shot? Because clearly, he has a lot to fight for here because you have a lot to lose in this fight.
Well, he's the top welterweight. He has a big name in the sport of boxing, so why not give him a shot at the title? He's done some great things at the welterweight division. He never lost at the welterweight division, so we look at all of those type of things.
You a snake in the grass, straight drops.
I was kind of asking Brian a little bit earlier, just going back, the one common opponent you guys have is Prescott, and that was a long time ago, but, you really showed how skilled that night you could be as a left-handed fighter. Can you just kind of talk about how you've improved as a southpaw and how, like, now at this stage of the game, you've become a guy that looks like a normal left-hander even though you're right-handed? How's the evolution of left-handed fighting kind of advanced for you as you've been in these championship fights as of late?
Well, it's just different fights. It just depends on the moment. I feel like I can fight great in both stands. Even though I've been fighting a little more southpaw, I believe that a lot of people forget about me fighting orthodox, me switching it up in the ring time to time. But that goes to show how well I'm doing at my second stance.
Yeah, I was going to say, how would you compare yourself as a southpaw now as to yourself as a southpaw back then? Because you certainly have improved a lot from where it's natural.
Well, I've got more experience in the southpaw stance and big fights, so I've evolved tremendously in the southpaw stance.
Thanks, Terence.
Your next question is from Dan Raphael.
Hello, Terence. My question is this. You're a skilled fighter. He's a skilled fighter. You both have speed. Both have a lot of experience. Both have been champions. Do you think that the biggest difference between you and Khan at this point, I asked Brian about this while your phone was on the fritz there, is it come down to that you're maybe a better puncher and that he has been knocked out a few times and that he just does not take the best shot, that all things being equal, that's going to be what makes you better in this fight than him?
I wouldn't say that. Yeah, Khan might be fast. He might have good movement, box well, but I'm a great boxer myself, and I'm not the slowest fighter by any means. So I believe in my skills, and I don't just believe that it's just my punching power that's going to lead me to victory. I believe it's my whole overall skills and mindset that'll lead me to victory. Comes 420.
So while you're in the process of doing that and you're showing him your skills and you're doing a good job boxing and all that, do you feel like it is just maybe a matter of time until you put one of your best punches on him and he crumbles?
No, I don't look at that. I always go in a fight looking to get the win. If the knockout comes, it comes. But that's not what I'm focusing on or looking at. It's boxing. Anything can happen. So we prepared to go 12 hard rounds, and that's how we're going to take it coming into the fight.
All right. Last night, Bob, who was on the call here, tweeted about this fight, saying, that when you win the fight, as Bob's confident that you'll win the fight, I'm sure you're confident you'll win the fight, that after it's over, that he wanted to let Errol Spence know that you were going to be ready, willing, and available, and, should he call Heyman or should Heyman call him, and let's try to make this fight. What are your thoughts about it? I know you got the fight with Khan coming up, but your promoter was talking about your next fight last night. What do you think about the prospect of a fight with Spence, and is it makeable in your mind?
Of course it's makeable, and that's, I believe, the biggest fight in the welterweight division. But like you said, my main focus is on Amir Khan, and after the fight, we can, talk to Errol Spence and Al Heyman and Top Rank doing business together. But for the most part right now, I'm not even worried or even thinking about Errol Spence right now.
Is there any part of you, Terence, that is I know you're competitive in the boxing ring, you're competitive about a lot of different things, but when you take a look at, say, when Errol Spence just fought, it'll have been just 1 month before your fight when he had the fight with Mikey Garcia, they generated around 350 or so thousand pay-per-view buys. Is there a part of you that is competitive that was like, I want to make sure that, that I show that I am just as marketable and just as popular and just as able to sell pay-per-views as he is? Is that in the back of your mind, on the business side of Terence Crawford's mind, to do at least as well or better than him?
At the same time, I have no control of that. And I don't know where a lot of people getting their numbers from, because I believe that's private information. So, they can say whatever they want, but if they did that much, more power to them. That's good for them. But like I said, I'm not worried about that. My main focus is to go in the ring come April 20th and make sure I solidify a good performance and get the victory. The numbers should do good. Amir Khan is a great fighter. He's fighting a great fighter in myself, and I believe the fans will enjoy a great night of boxing come 420.
All right, very good. Thank you very much for your time. Appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Your next question is from Carlos Toro.
One quick question for Terence. Terence, I know a lot of people have been, putting you as the best fighter in the division. A lot of people expect you to beat Amir Khan. Some say comfortably, whether it be through your boxing ability or a combination of your power and Amir Khan, not having the most durable chin in the division. Do you look at this fight and you kind of see that maybe people are selling Amir Khan a little bit short, and or are you trying to sort of avoid hearing the whole talk that Amir Khan is not as good as you, or that you're such a big favorite, to avoid being complacent in this fight?
I'm never going to get complacent. I know the threats that he brings in the ring. I know the troubles that I can have if I overlook a fighter like Amir Khan. He's got everything to gain and nothing to lose. So, we got to take this fight real serious, because, these are the fights that slip out of certain fighters' hands that think they got the victory in the bag and haven't even fought the fight yet. So we going into the fight 110% focused and ready for the best Amir Khan come fight night.
Thanks, Terence.
Your next question is from Ray McCarrion.
Hey, Terence, question for you. Do you consider Amir Khan the toughest opponent you've ever had so far?
I don't know. I can't say because I haven't fought him before.
But do you, he comes in with an action-packed style. Is any part of that sort of your motivation to pick him as an opponent, being that this is your second pay-per-view fight?
Not at all. Like I said, I'm looking for the best Amir Khan possibly come fight night, and we'll handle everything else accordingly.
All right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ray, and thank you, everybody, for joining us here today for the conference call for Amir Khan versus Terence Crawford versus Amir Khan, April 20th at Madison Square Garden. We appreciate all of your time, and we will talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you. That does conclude today's call. You may now disconnect.
Well, we didn't learn anything new of note, did we? What did we learn? Nothing? Is this call still live? Yeah, it's still live. Yeah. I don't even know where to start. For one, where's the promotion? Where's the promotion at? Where's the build up? What's the build up show? You know how like they have like a like a HBO 24/7, All Access, even the Zone have their little thing that they're doing. I forgot what it's called, but what does Fox, PBC, they have PBC Countdown too. But what does, Crawford-Khan have? Are they just hoping to sell the fight off of, Crawford and Khan's names alone? They're going to need a little bit more than that. They're going to need a little bit more than that. I mean, how much do you think this pay-per-view is trending for? Especially when you think about casuals. See, here's the thing. Hardcore fans, a lot of you are sons of bitches anyway, like motherfucking Straight Drop, talking about he's going to stream it. That's your scum. But you know what? That's your prerogative. That's your right. That's your right. But my thing is, it's like they got to sell the fight. We're not hearing about it nowhere. We're not hearing about it. I've seen a couple of ads here and there scattered. I remember with the Mikey Garcia, Spence Mikey Garcia, we were seeing that ad everywhere. And I was like, oh, shit. Oh, shit. They was running it during football. Have you been watching ESPN Sports? Have they been running pay-per-view ads on sports? Like, between the NBA games and MLB preseason and all that shit? Have they been running, like, ads? Anywhere? Here, let's go look up some shit. Let's look up some shit. Where we going to go? Where do we go? Let's go to ESPN Plus. Oh, man, ESPN Plus always making me sign in. Let's just go to YouTube. Twitter. There's no promotion nowhere. We're what? The fight's on the 20th. It's the 26th. We're less than a month away, right? 3 weeks away. Just a little bit over 3 weeks away. Just a little bit over 3 weeks away. Could they not afford the promotion? If you look at UFC over on ESPN, they're getting a lot of promotion for their shit. I thought we were going to be getting the same shit for, like, Top Rank in boxing. And I don't like how we're not getting, like, what's this shit?
Coming for you, April 20, you better be ready, man.
Look, he talking shit. You can see he losing weight. He losing. You can see he losing the weight. He talking some shit. Let's see what shit he talking.
This is Amir King Khan. Crawford, I'm coming for you. April 20, you better be ready, man. I'm going to be ready. I'm working very hard here in training camp. Away from my family, away from my friends, and just focusing, man. Away from all the good things I like in life. So I'm going to come and get him, man. April 20, there's going to be the new world champion. That's going to be me.
Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Okay. He talked, hey, shit. He said he going to do it. But look, it's like where's the shit? Let's go to YouTube. Where's the shit? I don't know what's up with Box Nation. Where's the shit? Let's see. Let's just go to ESPN boxing, right? They got Tim Bradley talking some shit. Right? Max on boxing. Come on. This old footage that we watched yesterday, this footage is old.
I worked.
This footage is old.
How do you get to do that?
Now, don't get it twisted. Don't get it wrong. No, hey, listen. Amir Khan's got balls, all right? We've seen that he fought Canelo. We've seen that he fighting Terence Crawford. He would fight Errol Spence if the money was right and the opportunity presented itself. But that chin is delicate. It's just ever so delicate. The slightest of touches, he is going down. He is going down, man. He's going down. But they had to make this fight because this was the best possible fight they can make. Because I'm sorry, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Al Heyman is not, no, excuse me, Bob Arum is not always the bad guy. How can we say that he shouldn't have signed with Top Rank when he knows that all the fighters are over there? Yes, but the money, you know? And, you know, he's comfortable where he's at. You know, it's hard, man. It's hard, like, when it comes to boxers' logic and everything like that, or, like, fan logic. But he is on ESPN, and he was on ESPN before they probably even knew about the Fox deal. So when Amir Khan comes in, because they had to get a name. They couldn't do Luis Collazo. But then after Amir Khan, who are they going to go after? They're going to have to go to mandatory route to say, hey, listen, we got to fight on mandatory. Until Al Heyman free up one of his 147-pounders. Probably send over Luis Collazo again like he did for Samuel Vargas. Khan will probably be winning and doing good until what? The inevitable happens. It could be Danny Garcia if I want to send him over, but it's going to have to be on ESPN. Terence Crawford is not coming over. It's going to be either a joint, telecast or a joint, promotion. But it's only one fighter that they're willing to do a joint promotion for. You know, would they do a joint promotion for Mikey Garcia and Terence Crawford? Probably for Loma. But now Bob Arum's saying, oh, that shit not even as good as it used to be. You know, because Mikey Garcia lost to Errol Spence, even though it was in a bigger weight class still. You know? Yeah, Khan will be doing good. But then, and then what's going to happen when he get hit? He's going to start doing those dance moves that he be doing. And then he's going to put his hands down and try to backtrack. And then he's going to get hit on the way back. And then probably go flying out the ring. It's probably going to be biblical this time. We've seen him get fucked up pretty bad. So I can only imagine what, like, a Terence Crawford would do to him. You know, that shit probably going to be real, real ugly. Whew. You know? But what if Khan go to distance? See, the selling point of this fight to me and to a lot of fans is, what if Khan don't get knocked out? You ever think about that? What if he don't get knocked out? You know, I don't think people ever thought about that part. What if he goes the distance? He's usually winning on the cards, right? He's usually winning on the cards. I'm going to be prepared regardless. I'm glad I didn't want to go. I want to see that shit from home. Also, the undercard is pretty nice. You got a Teofimo Lopez versus Edis Tatley. He's very highly ranked by the IBF. You got a fight that I'm salivating for, despite the drool off. Shakur Stevenson versus Christopher Diaz. And then what's the other fight? They probably going to throw Michaela Mara on it. What's the other fight? It's down below in the description box. What's the other fight? I forgot. What's the third one? Oh, Felix Verdejo returns. You know? But like I said, they got to pick it up with the content. They got to pick it up with the content. Look, even if you go to the Top Rank YouTube, they got to pick it up with the content. Ain't nothing there. I mean, yeah, they got Crawford versus Benavidez highlights. What's this?
Madison Square Garden is where the history of boxing...
Okay, but, show us Crawford-Khan stuff. They paying tribute to the Garden. Yeah, a lot of people are starting to point out that Conor McGregor said that he retired from MMA. What if he trying to really, really box because it's where the money at, but they nah, you can't box. Nah, you got to fucking MMA or else. But I'm sure he's probably going to come back. German Cajas has already got a fight booked, right? He's coming back very soon. But all right, guys, we're going to get out of here, man, because we got videos to do, and we got a lot of shit going on. Remember, the merch store is open. Link right down below in the description box. Going to make sure I have some banners and things for the channel. Handling a lot of things in my personal life, Also, we got the podcast. We got all these fights coming up. I'm planning out my travel schedule for what fights I'm going to be going to. And this week we're going to coast because it's not really, this week and next week is kind of like a little slow in boxing. So shit don't pick back up until Loma Crolla, which is April the 12th, and that's when I got to go hard again. So I'm enjoying these, couple of weeks. Yeah, that call was, I wanted Bob Arum to get a little more mad. Oh, we're going to be back Thursday with a stream for Jaime Munguia and Dennis Hogan. Their media call is on Thursday. And what else? Fights of the week, obviously, I'm going to be covering the Volzdik fight. I'm going to be covering the Liam Smith, Sam Eggington fight. What else? A couple other cards, right? Probably going to dabble into the UFC this week, cover that. Jesse Smollett, I got to make sure I catch up on the news right now to talk about his situation and get a video out on that. We're bringing some new team members on. As I said, the store is open. We got our monetization back. We're flowing. Numbers were up because when we were blacklisted, we wasn't getting any promotion. So therefore, numbers were down like 70%. So I noticed this weekend, shit picked back up like a lot. So that goes to show you, man, partnership means something. That blacklist shit was whack. We got a lot of guests lined up for the podcast. I'm keeping it close to the chest. We got a lot of fire-ass guests lined up for the podcast. But it's about when. My baby mom is a hater, and she's a weirdo, and she's a